the person cast as General Boy originally chickened out.
I think we paid him 25 cents each to be in it.
You see our world and our reality in this 10-minute film.
Are we not men?
We are Devo is the answer.
Listen up, Spuds. Welcome to De-Evolutionary Times. De-Evolutionary Times. De-Evolutionary Times. De-Evolutionary Times.
De-evolution, self-execution, no solution. I'm a potato. I got eyes all around.
We need eyes all around as this world falls apart faster and faster. We have to see what's coming and going and what's sneaking up on us from behind. De-Evolutionary Times. It's not too late to whip it good.
Hi, I'm Bob One.
I'm Jerry.
Mark.
And we're Devo, and we're here today to launch a new program on our YouTube channel. It's called Devolutionary Times. Our first episode features our very first music video, which was no music video at all. It was a film. The Truth About Devolution. The beginning was the end. And boy, was that true. We were inspired by quack science, by
Science fiction.
right-wing religious pamphlets, by horror movies. We didn't believe the kind of mainstream ideology that evolution was wonderful and man was just progressing and that there was getting better and better and he was the paragon of all species on the planet.
This Yugoslavian anthropologist had decided humans were devolving, not evolving, that we were like an out of touch with nature species.
He basically thought humans were psychotic apes who had lost their fur and their tails and their sixth sense that threw us out of harmony with nature. And that's why humans find it necessary to suppress and dominate all other life forms on the planet. They don't know how to survive in harmony with nature because they are really not like the rest of nature. De-evolution was a more palatable explanation of what we were witnessing in the culture, where people seem to be getting dumber, seem to be losing the idea of being able to analyze information, critically. The beginning was the end. The Truth About Devolution was our way of trying to communicate to the public what all this babble that we were spouting was about. We tried to put it into creative form where the 10-minute film would be a manifesto about who Devo is and what our aesthetic is and what the hell is de-evolution about.
In the past, this information has been suppressed, but now it can be told. Every man, woman, and mutant on this planet shall know the truth about de-evolution.
What happens in this movie is Devo are working class spuds, and spuds are common people, commentators, not born with silver spoons in their mouths, not born of privilege. So it opens up with us working in the factory, and it's quitting time, and we go to the club where we have to play a deconstructed version of Secret Agent Man.
When it cuts to the audience and you see them, I think we paid them 25 cents each to be in it.
Prime lunch in the student union. You'd be eating big time.
It cost us, back then it wasn't a video, it was on film. Jerry and I started a graphic design company downtown, and we kept it just long enough to make $3,000.
Yeah, the business was called Unit Services, and it was a graphic art printing business. Once we made $3,000, we closed it up and proceeded with a college friend, Chuck Statler, who I had met previously in 1968. Chuck Statler was the guy that shot this film and kind of did direct it too, because he was the guy with the knowledge of the mechanics of filmmaking.
He'd gone up to Minneapolis to work on commercials, and he came back and saw what we were doing and thought, oh, we got to make a film out of it.
Are we not men? We are Devo. Are we not men?
Devo was visual more than it was music, and then it became music. The name check song, Jocko Homo, that song musically is radical and polarizing. It's architectural. It's not 2/4 time. and the sounds in it are amazing. Mark was one of the only people with a Moog synthesizer or an ARP Odyssey, and he was the only guy I knew that was using it to make original sounds and not trying to sound like brass or woodwinds
We were
or
looking
strings.
I was looking for sounds that were the new sound of our technology, of our world that we were in.
And the drums, that was another Mothersbaugh, Jim Mothersbaugh. He had created the drums. He had basically made a proto electronic drum set
Before there were any.
before there were
Drum
anything.
sets, yeah,
He
was
created it from scratch parts, mixers, Remo practice pads, amplifiers.
he worked at a muffler shop and bent the framework for it out of exhaust pipe material.
And this definitely fit into like what would Devo music sound like. You see our world and our reality in this 10-minute film, and it's our manifesto. We have people that were submitting questions, and we want to answer them. So here's one from Anders Lundgren. Please tell me about an unexpected obstacle encountered and overcome while making the Truth About De-Evolution. We did have a big obstacle because the person cast as General Boy originally for the original film chickened out 4 days before the shoot.
He was our landlord.
He was our landlord as well, where Devo practiced in the basement of the house every night. And he had this baritone voice, and he looked like a military general, and he was kind of like a, authoritarian macho guy. But once you put him in a ridiculous military uniform with a helmet, we thought it would really work. And he had the lines, and he'd been rehearsing them, and he chickened out. So we went to Boogie Boy's real dad. Since Boogie Boy was Mark, we went to Mr. Mothersbaugh, Robert Mothersbaugh Sr., and then he was General Boy for the life of Devo videos for 20 years.
Yeah, he got really heavily into it, where he showed up at our very first concert in uniform. He had prepared a speech to introduce the band going on stage, and we're like, holy shit, Dad, what are you, Dad, you're really getting into this.
Yeah, he took to it. And then he started being in character all the time.
Yeah, but he wrote lyrics. He got really into it. He wrote lyrics, and we even used lyrics of his in a song later on.
Called Enough Said on New Traditionalist.
Okay, Tony Delamingus, the 6, or the VI, whatever that.
I'd say the 6th.
Yeah, I think so. There's a long line of Tony Delaminguses. What inspired the change from electroacoustic drum kit of early recordings to the drum sounds heard in the Secret Agent Man segment? Well, I'm a little confused about that question because there were electronic drum sounds in Secret Agent Man.
Right.
That was one of our most radical. But both of those songs in that film, Jocko Homo and Secret Agent Man, had Jim's homemade kit that we were talking about, and they sound incredible. When you watch this film through, think about the drums, because we did change. We went more to an acoustic drum kit later on, and so this is the most extreme drums that we ever used with the.
You hear them in all their radical rawness, and you see them featured in the video.
Yeah, the next question was asked by Mike Overley. And what he asked was, when you park in front of the fire hydrant in The Truth About De-Evolution, do you mean to call out the hopelessness of this apparatus in a world on fire? Or is this more of a parking violation? Ha ha ha.
Well, Mike, it was just a parking violation because we didn't have any money for meters.
Also, it made for a great angle of the front door of the club we were about to go into.
There was always a practical reason. Mm-hmm. And it was a little snicker. Did you always envision the film to showcase 2 songs? And did you film everything you conceived of in the script? Or was there more of a plot or connective tissue? We probably had at least 5 times of the content ideas that you see that make it into the 10-minute Truth About De-Evolution film. And frankly, that's because we had $3,000 in 2 days, right?
Yeah. To me, The Truth About De-Evolution is maybe my favorite of all the films, just because it was ground zero. We had no expectations, except for our grandiose ideas.
We had no intention of being a rock band when we made The Truth About De-Evolution. This predated any involvement with record labels or any intention to be commercial. Thank you guys, you devotees out there, for these questions. That's something that we really find important, and we want to interact. We want to talk to you. In episode 2, you'll find out what happens when Devo intersects with the music business and record labels.